Hello, everybody. It's Mike from Game, known as Newdeath Gaming sometimes, and I'm here with Aaron Spelker of MAG. What's up,
Hello.
Aaron?
Hey, how you
What's
doing?
up? Oh man, it's been a while. I haven't had you on in a second. I'm not a
No.
master interviewer, but Aaron, we love to talk. So me and Aaron, we love to chat, and we're talking about Eldrum Red Tide. NDG game loves to kill. We must kill. Killing must occur. People must die in this world. I am an evil non-NPC. so,
I go
so
with
yeah,
I go with chaotic neutral.
yeah.
Not good or
I mean,
bad. Sometimes I just do something really good. Sometimes I just kill somebody. I'm all over the place.
oh man, I'm chaotic neutral when it comes to loot. Looting chaotically is my thing. Getting anything I can get my hands on. So, folks, we're gonna be chatting for a minute. I might make this a multi-parter depending on how much we talk. We're probably gonna be into this for a minute. If you like what you hear, please don't be shy. Please like, share, and subscribe. It means the world to me. Appreciate you. Now, we're going to be talking about achievements and some of the new updates. So, Eldrum Red Tide is the sequel to Untold by. Is Untold done by Act None? I'm trying to think that is Act None a developer of also Untold? I think so, right?
It is, yes.
Okay, good. So Act None, thanks. Sorry, Act None. So Act None is the developer of both titles, and I should know this, right? Because I did a whole playthrough of Act None. And also, we're going to be talking about achievements. We'll be talking about updates. We'll be talking about achievements. Aaron and me are going to go through our achievements individually for our accounts, talk about the percentage of completion and our titles, whatever titles they be. And it won't be the title that in game we're called. Not agree with the things I've been called in game. Uh, just a whole other topic. Hey, it's medieval times. There wasn't anything politically correct said in medieval times. If you can find something politically correct in medieval times, you're better than me. I can't. But yeah. So, Aaron, tell everyone briefly what you do, what mobile accessible gaming is, and all what you do with your community.
Yeah, I'm the founder of Mobile Accessible Games, which is a group that finds games that are accessible on the mobile phone for the blind and visually impaired. And each week we review a new game in kind of a long form format where we kind of describe what the game is it fun, what its accessibility, ability is and downfalls are. So if there's, if it's good at accessibility, we talk about that. If there's something wrong with the accessibility, we point that out, and then when we can, tell people the workarounds, and then we give it a grade each game that we review. And so that comes out every Sunday, a new game review, and we're up to 118 games that we've reviewed for the group. And
That's
then,
amazing. That
yeah,
is
yeah,
so
one a
amazing.
week, so it's been a hectic pace. And then every just about everyone, I'll say three times a month on Wednesday, we put out a interview with a game developer, an accessibility influencer, an content creator like yourself.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
talking about accessibility and gaming and what we've liked in various games, and with the developer how they created their accessibility, accessible game. So just kind of pulling the curtain, a peek behind the curtain in the accessibility world in mobile gaming.
You all have been doing mobile accessible gaming has been like a new icon, like a prolific icon in the community. It's been going for a minute, right? How long has your community MAG been up? Now you had an original name and it was a really long, cool name. And then you
Yeah,
changed to a really cool short name.
yeah. My original name was the Apple iPhone iOS voiceover compatible games group, which was a mouthful.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, exactly,
Gesundheit.
exactly. It was every keyword I could think of. So I tightened it up to just mobile accessible games. But it's been just about 2 years. 2 years in May is when it formally started. So so yeah, it's been going. It's growing. We're just shy of 2,000 people in the group now, and like I said, 118 reviews over the course of that almost 2 years. So quite a nice pace. And the thing that we pride myself in doing these reviews is I'm always seeking out different genres. There's something like I think over 20 different genres of types of games. So if you're a person who doesn't like an RPG game like Eldrum and you like word games, well, there's going to be 10 word games that you can look at, or 10 puzzle games, or 10 text adventure games, or 10 whatever the case may be, match 3 games. There's just a whole bunch of different genres out there, so that hopefully anyone who joins the group and is looking for a game can find a type of game that they enjoy playing.
Exactly. And I think that's the remarkable part about mobile accessible games. You cover so many genres. You have a super superb positive community, which I think you are adeptly responsible for making sure it has stayed incredibly positive and responsive. Folks get on there and they talk about the games, rate the games, discuss the games. You have a very active, like busy community of folks who are like really working on stuff. They're talking about accessibility, they're rating games. You have an interview series that goes off on MAG. You have a rating system. You do a yearly thing, right?
Yeah, we do.
Like a top of the year kind of thing.
Yeah, we at the end of the year we do the top 5 countdown of every year we have people in the community vote for what was their favorite game of the previous year, and that is a game that I've reviewed. So last year I reviewed 60 games, or sorry, 50 games, and it was of those 50 games I reviewed, what was your favorite? And we had the community vote, and there's a winner last year was the game Lost Fault, which you love, I know.
Oh yeah.
But then we also do a video that's a countdown of the top 5, counting down from number 5 down to number 1, where we talk about, the top 5 voted games by the community. I also do a year-end panel discussion, which you were on as well, with also Liam Irvin and Jesse Anderson this past year, talking about, the year in review. So, I'm going to keep up those traditions as well. So there's, a lot of different types of content out there for people.
Oh yeah, I loved your panel interview. That was great working, hanging out with Jesse and Liam and you. That man, we could have talked forever. And I love your countdown. Appreciated being part of that. I do love countdowns, especially right before New Year's. Yeah, I mean, it's really great to kind of have your community for folks who are visually impaired, for folks who are not always able to find resources for finding new games. You can find lots of games on MAG, and I'll just put that like bookmark there that if you want to go beast mode on visually impaired accessible games, swing over to MAG. I will leave a link in the description below so you can find MAG. So you can directly go to the Facebook group, join, and become part of an amazing, positive, and completely accessible community of other folks, and have a good
I
time.
have to say, if you're blind and visually impaired and you like playing games, there is no reason not to be part of that group.
Oh yeah, you got to be part. You've got to be an MAG. MAG is the thing. If you're into mobile accessible games, if you're into the community, if you want to know what's really new and hot, and if you want, it's like Netflix basically for visually impaired and blind. I mean, it's Netflix. You click on the thing. It's like, oh, I need to figure out what's going on. This is what's hot this week. Oh, this is hot. I'm gonna check it. Yeah, so yeah, I treat MAG like Netflix or Disney Plus. I swing over there at least once a week to see what they're doing, and I drop a couple of articles about my game. So if you also want to hear what game, which is what Newdeath Gaming's name is now, if you want to hear what game is working on, gaming accessibly with Mike every day, you want to also swing by MAG because I do drop occasional information, an article, a post, which will have a link to a video on YouTube in case you want to hear what newest, latest games I'm working on. And Aaron has given me permission to post on his group. Like, Aaron's like, he's taking risks, y'all. He's taking risks.
If you're talking about mobile accessible gaming, you're allowed to post there, and we get a lot of developers who are talking about their new games that are coming out, like the people who created To the Dragon Cave. They're always kind of posting out there with their new game that they're working on and what the updates are. So there's it becomes a like almost like a news feed of content about great games that are on their way as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, a lot of developers really love MAG. So yeah, y'all want to be on the inside, you want to be talking to developers, you want to hear what they're talking about, hear as they're just taking steps. That's where you want to be. But today we're going to be talking about Eldrum Red Tide,
Yes.
and the killing must begin. We must begin to discuss. So in this particular game chat interview slash moment, Aaron's going to be chaotic neutral. I am going
Yes.
to be evil lawful.
Evil,
So,
lawful.
lawful evil, lawful
Okay.
evil. I'm claiming fifth edition rules. So I my character, and we're going to be talking about characters and good and evil, and I don't know why they just don't adopt a whole alignment system with Eldrum Red Tide because it feels like,
Well, it's there. It's under the hood, obviously. They just don't
oh
kind of.
yeah,
They don't kind of clearly state where you ended up falling, but it's there because if you did too many bad things, certain things aren't open to you, and if you're wrong people, you suddenly can't get into things later in the game. So I mean, it's under the hood there. Your alignment. It's just not specifically stated per se. But I would say I am chaotic neutral because you never know what I'm going to do. Sometimes I'll save you. Sometimes I'll just hack your head off. It's and I'm pretty even, and it's almost not the way to play because like when I got to the end, no one would let like we'll get there, but like the church wouldn't let me in because I wasn't nice enough to them, and the the path of no didn't like me either because I didn't do enough for them. Like I just kind of towed the line on everybody. But at the end, they kind of wanted me to pick a side, and I never picked a side. So both of them kind of rejected me.
oh yeah. I mean, we're definitely going to get into discussing about these different pathways and the cults and the religions. I'm no, this is not a religious conversation, folks. This is all fantasy. So just in case anybody's listening, these are all fantasy-based choices and paths and factions. So yeah, and folks, there's no real religion in this game. But yeah, I'm with you. There were so many choices that I made as chaotic, lawful evil, excuse me, lawful evil. I've had, when I do the wrong thing, I have a feeling there were some moments where I could have done the right thing. And I felt that Eldrum was punishing me for some decisions I made. But we're going to get into that right now. So, first of all, what were your initial impressions, Aaron, about Eldrum when you popped the hood open and just cranked the engine and stuff? Did you get that really triple A feeling of the game when you first turned it on and cranked it up?
So no, not at first, right? So at first I was like, oh, it's a text adventure game. It's got some role playing mechanics. I'll play this. They did Untold. That was decent. But they really ramped it up from Untold because as you go around in this world, there's multiple ways to approach scenarios. There's multiple ways to deal with people. There is a very open world where you can kind of keep, you know, revisiting locations, and when you revisit them, it's not just the same thing. Like they've responded to how the world has changed based off of other things that you've done or other events that you've seen. So I've always felt like going back to a location felt pretty fresh and new, like it would be if you really were living in that world. So the more I played it, the more I fell in love with the game and thought it was something really special. It's about as much of an open world RPG game available to the blind and visually impaired that I think you can get. It really your choices really felt like they changed the world, and in going back, if I made different choices, the world actually would be different and not just superficially different, like pretty drastically different. Like I said, you come out the gate, you might not think it's something special, but if you don't think it's something special by the end, that would be surprising to me because there's so many things that you can explore and just whole sections that you don't see. I mean, we'll go through the achievements. There's so many things that I didn't even discover, and I'm a pretty thorough go over again and again, trying to find stuff. And I'm only 64% of the content did I find through a pretty exhaustive first playthrough.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're gonna be talking about the percentage of things, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into the whole achievement. So, folks, I have on my phone. For those of you who are listening, this is a podcast-based kind of program, so there's no visuals. So just don't worry. Whatever you hear me swiping through, you don't need to see it. Um, we're going to just go through some of the achievements, discuss them a little bit, and at the end of it, I'm going to ask Aaron to tell me some really, really cool wish list items that he's looking forward to having in future updates. And also, what were some of the most unique parts of the game that were just like blew his socks off? And I'm going to do the same. So, we're both going to cover our wish list and what blew our socks off about the current game. And we just want to leave this caveat that we love this game. Both of us, right, Aaron? We both love this
Absolutely,
game.
yeah, yeah, very much so.
So for Acnon, who is a developer, that's ACT, second word, None. We love you. You're amazing. This game is sick. It's awesome. This is the best tech-based strategy RPG out there, right? It's there's not very there aren't any text-based strategy games much, right?
Well,
Out there.
not that is this open world. I mean, like, a game I love is Zombie Exodus and
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Zombie
yeah.
Exodus
Zombie.
Safe Haven, but you're on a little bit more of a linear path. Like, you constantly are moving forward. You can't go back to previous locations as much. You go, you encounter a location, and then that's it for that location. This you can keep revisiting. You can go to every location, revisit it, see something new. Go. One time when you went through, it was clear. The next time you go through, there's a crashed cart with 10 arrows in it. You know what I mean? Which makes you feel like, oh, something happened here while I was gone. It feels more lived in, and more like I'm living in the world, not just having the world, pushed onto me. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, definitely. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, Jim Totillo, oh, love Zombie Exodus. One of these days, I'm gonna do a whole playthrough of that game because it is so good. And so, actually, Eldrum could use some of Totillo's touches when it comes to detail because Totillo just he has this next level ability with detail. And I do believe all these developers are all hitting on all cylinders. There's just a little bit of something special in each one of their games. I just want them all in one game. I'm that greedy. I want everything in one game. I want the best
Uh,
description. I want
Safe
the
Haven,
best.
Safe
Uh,
Haven just dropped some new content, like
yeah.
like DLC, if you will, around the main storyline.
Ooh, that's gonna be so sweet.
Yeah.
That game gets you busy. You're zombie. We're gonna have to have a whole conversation in a separate video. But anyway, so we are going to go through all the achievements. Let's go through achievements. We have like about an hour here, and I just definitely don't want to run out of time. But let's talk about the achievements. So I'm going to start in the list, and Aaron, you're just going to tell me if you can remember if you got that achievement, or and then we'll chat
I,
about it for briefly.
I
Okay.
got my achievement list in front of me as well.
All right, cool. All right. So first of all, what is your ranking for those of you who are just eager to know what our rankings are, so you can feel superior to us?
Yeah. Well,
What is your ranking?
I've only done one playthrough, so this is based off of one playthrough. I got 64% of the content, which I think is
Awesome.
great. The fact that there's still 36% of stuff that I didn't see, and then, like I said, I kept going back to locations, I kept working things, and that ranks me as a veteran.
Correct. And I am also listed as a veteran with only 62%. So Aaron went up to me by 2%. And we are both veterans. And I feel like I did almost everything. And I just was really surprised when I missed 38% of the game.
Yeah.
How about you?
Very much so. And what really gets me, we'll get into this, but there's just so many things that it just says undiscovered. That I didn't even interact with it. Not that I saw it and didn't complete it, because there's some things like that, like where it says, you found it, but you didn't satisfy, the criteria. This is just stuff that I never even stumbled across, and that
Oh,
blows me away.
yeah.
Like, I feel like I've visited, well, I felt like I visited every location, but we'll get there in the next achievement, which is your explorer.
Hmm.
There's, let's see, uh, so So there's
So yeah,
126 locations, and
and
I
how many
only
did you
visited
visit?
116.
Okay, so you visited four more locations than I did. I have 112 locations visited. Okay, so I feel what do those locations have that much percentage left to explore? And that's really unusual to think that there's that much left to explore.